Hello, everyone. This is Nick, your commissioner. You're also your 2024 MVP and 2024 champion. Today, I'm going to be presenting my mock draft video for 2025. So without further ado, let's get this started. With the first pick in the draft, Mike Vandehey will be selecting Ashton Genty, Las Vegas, running back, who's the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft, which is very, very good draft capital for a running back. 2,600 yards, 29 rushing TDs, and second in the Heisman voting this year. Las Vegas has a new coach, Pete Carroll. He loves to run the rock. I think Pete Carroll's only 82 years old, so this should be a long-term investment. My NFL comp I've seen recently thrown out there is Trent Richardson mixed with Najee Harris. So should be a good pick to Mike. Will produce in the first couple of years. Who knows after that? But he is number 2 on Nick's official big board of good players to draft in the Wisconsin Jabronis League. Good pick, Mike. He adds a running back to a team that needs just about every single position. Probably the best pick in the draft here. With pick number 2, we have Mike Vandehey up once again. This time he's going to be taking Omarion Hampton, Los Angeles Chargers, running back. He has first round draft capital. Only 2 running backs in this draft has had first round capital. 23rd overall to the Chargers. He had 1,600 rushing yards last year, 15 touchdowns. He goes to a heavy run team. Sure, Najee Harris is there, but that's the only one he really has to beat out. This is one of the only 3-down running backs, I think, in this draft. So another good pick by Mike. My NFL comp is Isaiah Spiller with some Riz and a chance with Jim Harbaugh. Good pick to Mike. Now he has 2 good running backs. Let's fill out that wide receiver room later on in the draft, is what he's thinking. Next up, we got one-time champion Brendan Nagley on the clock. He's going to go Travis Hunter, Jacksonville, wide receiver and cornerback. This means he is eligible for not only the 2 wide receiver slots, the 2 flex spots, but also the 2 IDP spots. This has never happened in the history of this league. So that is why he is my number 1 overall pick in this draft if you were to go to any other team. I think he has the most talent, the most opportunity to be that dual player. He's going to get both IDP points and wide receiver points. He could have a stat line of something along the lines of 60 receiving yards, 10 rushing yards, a receiving touchdown, 1 interception, 3 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and just put up monster numbers some weeks. So why do I like this man? Drafted 2nd overall. Jacksonville traded up to get him. They want to play him both ways. He's not only going to play one way, so that makes him super, I would say, overrated in any league without IDP features, but this league has IDP features, so this means he could transcend what we know about players in this league. So, yes, he is number 1 on Nick's big board with the Jabronis IDP rules. My NFL comp, he's a mixture of Deion Sanders with OBJ. Good pick, Brendan. These are 2 tanking teams that had the first 3 picks here. So I think that they're both made good choices here. And I think this is going to be, these are the first 3 guys off the board. Number 4 is where I could see it going one way or another. Kyle, his team is one of my 3 teams where I have him as an automatic playoff contender this year. One of 4, I'll say. I'm going to put 4, and I can reveal those 4 later on. But he has kind of room to work with here. He's got a full running back room. He has a full wide receiver room. He has the QB, the tight ends, everything you would want. So this is where it's kind of just best player available, in my opinion. Next up is Travion Henderson, New England running back. He was drafted 38th overall. He had 1,000 rushing yards and 10 rushing TDs last year. A lot of people I've seen have been comping him to Gibbs in the fact that he's going to be used as a weapon all around. The biggest thing about Henderson, though, is that he's the best pass-blocking running back in this draft. So what does that mean? He's going to be on the field a majority of the time. With that said, he also goes to an up-and-coming QB stud. My NFL comp is Craig Shiloh, and I think this is going to be such a good pick. Next up on my board, Mike Vandehey has yet another top 5 pick. He's going to take Ted McMillan, Carolina, wide receiver. He was taken 8th overall. He had 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns last year as an Arizona wide receiver. He goes into a situation where he will need to prove himself in year 1. If he doesn't, he'll have plenty of question marks because Bryce Young might be on the chopping block. Their coach could be on the chopping block. All their running backs are on their last year. He's going to have to put up some big numbers year 1, but he was taken with the 8th overall pick, so he has something to prove. Most pressure on a rookie wide receiver of all time? That's what I'm saying. But let's hear what you have to say. So my draft comp, he is Kevin White with a sleeve tattoo. I personally don't think he'll work out. He's like number 10 on my big board. But hey, he was taken top of the line, which is why I expect him in the Wisconsin Jabronis draft to be taken top 5 as the top true only wide receiver on the board here. Now it gets interesting here because Josh has back-to-back picks. So with the 106, I'm going to say he's going to take Quinshon Judkins, Cleveland running back. So why do I think he's going to take Judkins? Well, this man was the 34th overall pick. He accumulated 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns last year. He has a good body for a running back. He's 220, nice size, 5'11 or 6 feet, somewhere along those lines. Best chance outside of Genty to be a 3-down back day 1. He virtually has no competition except for Ford. And then my NFL comp is he's XX Tension, just way more buff. And the only reason I'm comparing him to XX Tension is because of the hair. So yes, bad NFL comp, but this guy's going to be a stud. Good pick by Josh. He's going to try and redo his running back room. He's got some old running backs. You're going to see him take some of the young running backs this year in the draft. Good pick. With the 107, Josh is going to go RJ Harvey, Denver running back. Yes, I am recording this video after J.K. Dobbins was signed there. Yes, I made the presentation deck before J.K. Dobbins signed there. No, I was not going to remake the mock draft. I still think Josh will go RJ Harvey here. Why do I think that? He has second-round draft capital. He's going to Denver with Sean Payton, who needs a running back desperately to fill some holes that Javonte Williams is no longer going to be there. So he's 4 months younger than Kenneth Walker, so this is an old prospect. He's got – I'm not age-shaming here, just want to put that out there, but he is an older prospect. Denver takes old man Nix last year, and it worked. It worked well for Sean Payton. So what does Sean Payton do? He's going to say, who cares about that age? We're going to take another old man running back this year. My NFL comp is he's Chase Brown's older brother. Chase Brown, running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're comped out so identically. It's crazy. But Chase Brown's younger. He's younger than RJ Harvey. He's already got his rookie season down. But if RJ Harvey has any type of season that Chase Brown had last year, he's going to be a good pick because I think he's going to be a day 1 starter. At the 108, we have Joe Pa on the board. Now, Joe Pa has a plethora of wide receivers to choose from. He also has one more key running back, I would say, that will go in the first round. But what does he do? He selects Matthew Golden of the Green Bay Packers, wide receiver. Why would you take him? He has first-round draft capital. In my opinion, the wide receiver room is not very good there. I think Matthew Golden could be the wide receiver 1 there immediately. That offense is such a good offense, too. No bias here. He goes to a crowded wide receiver room. Again, I had mentioned I don't think any receivers are good there. Last year, he had 1,000 yards and 9 TDs. He was my number 2 wide receiver draft prospect behind Travis Hunter pre-draft. So I was thrilled when Green Bay took him. Now he just rises up the board for me. In my opinion, he's a beast, but hey, that's my opinion. Who am I to say I'm a two-time champ? My NFL comp is he's a slower version of Tyreek, could get up there with Keon Coleman's drive. What do I mean by that? Keon Coleman quits on routes. That's Matthew Golden's biggest red mark on him coming into the draft is that he quits on routes. I'm not concerned with it. Matt LaFleur is going to kick that out of there. Great pick by Joey. I expect him to take Matthew Golden at 108 here. Now we're sitting here at the 109, and guess who's up again? Michael Van De Hey. Who does he take? He's going to take Miki Ibuka here, Tampa Bay wide receiver. Why? First-round draft capital. Ohio State wide receivers have historically hit the past couple of years. Safe bet. He's a nice slot weapon for this team that has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Sure, they're aging now. I don't know if Ibuka is going to be a year one stud, but he's definitely a great player, and they draft him in the first round for a reason. So, sure, he goes to a crowded wide receiver room early on. Ignore that. Year two, what did JSN do? He's my comp, by the way. So what did JSN do? He got those old guys out of there, killed the game. Tyler Lockett, you're gone. DK Metcalf, you're gone. There's a new man in town. His name's JSN. I think Sealy Emeka Ibuka is going to be that kind of guy. He was my number 3 wide receiver draft prospect early on, pre-draft. Goes to a good team. Might not have year one productivity, but Mikey doesn't need that year one productivity. His 4 best players on his team are going to be his first 4 picks this year. So my comp, again, is the worst JSN. Good pick by Mike. Hopefully he falls to you at 109, but, I think Golden and Ibuka could flip-flop here. So now, typically I don't mock tight ends in the first round of the Wisconsin Jabronis draft, but I cannot ignore the draft capital that these 2 tight ends got here. So first off on the board, Ty's gonna be up here. He's got old-ass Travis Kelce. He needs to backfill this position. So what does he do with the 110? He's going to take Tyler Warren of the Indianapolis Colts, tight end. He got first-round draft capital. I think it was pick 14. He's going to be Kelce's replacement on Ty's team. He's a Penn State legend. They love him there. They would die for this man. What do I think of him? I think he's good. I think his comp is Jonnu Smith, which, you know what, if he works out to be the Jonnu Smith that he was at Jonnu Smith got to when he was age 29. If Tyler Warren can do that at the age of 24, you're going to have a great pick from Ty here. Good replacement for Kelce. Good pick, Ty. With the 111, we're going to have Freddie on the clock here. Freddie's team just got off runner-up champion, I guess, so second place, to the Wisconsin Jabronis League. So he's got a good team, good solid team here. What does that mean for the rest of his team? If you look at his team, they're kind of aging now, right? Some of his running backs aren't doing too well. His wide receivers are getting up there in age. So what does he need to do to compete right away? Once again, he needs to grab a young running back. So if he gets lucky enough where that last guy that I would say is a first-round running back, who is Caleb Johnson, Pittsburgh running back, if he falls to him, Freddie's going to be ecstatic here. Why? He was a 3rd-round draft capital, 29.6 BMI, which is 41st percentile. Why is that important? Well, Caleb Johnson is a big lad. He's a big lad, so you'd expect him to be a little bit slower than other running backs, but that's just not the case. The guy is super wicked fast. On top of that, he's got a big body, so these are just mixtures you don't typically see in the NFL. So we're really excited about this guy here at Knicks HQ. He's got 1,500 yards last year, 21 touchdowns in the Big Ten. He's only 21 years young. One of the youngest running backs in the class here. My NFL comp is Frank Gore. If he has the career like Frank Gore, Freddie's got a man here, a man. Good pick. Moving on to the next. Next with the 112, we have Tyler on the clock. He's going to make the selection of Colson Loveland, Chicago tight end. Why? He has first-round draft capital. The Bears decide to select him with the 10th overall pick. so they have to use him, right? Well, he enters an already crowded wide receiver tight end room with an unproven QB1. Last year, he had 600 yards and 5 touchdowns, so low production. He actually had pretty low production all 3 years at Michigan. My NFL comp is Tony Gonzalez if he grew up in Idaho. Good Idaho kid, should be a complete all-around good tight end. I don't like the position he's in, but Tyler loves tight ends, so he's going to add to his tight end plethora. Next up, we have the next 4 picks in the second round. So first off, Mike will be selecting Jaden Higgins, Houston wide receiver. He was an early second-round pick. 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns last year. He goes to a team that desperately needs a wide receiver 2, and I think he should be that wide receiver 2 right away. So good pick by Mikey here. He shows signs of Allen Robinson, which is really good news early on in his career. Next, 202, Josh is going to select Cam Skidaboo, New York Giants running back. Again, this is the draft where Josh redrafts all of his running backs and gets them all a little younger. He already has Tyrone Tracy, so this is just ensuring that he has the Giants running back pick. 4th round capital, 2,300 total yards last year with 24 total touchdowns. His comp is Jay Ajayi. Next, with the 3rd pick, Gavin's going to select Luther Burden, Chicago wide receiver. 2nd round draft capital. He goes to a crowd wide receiver room, same stuff with Colson Loveland that I just talked about. But he was in the 90th percentile in 40-yard dash. What does that mean? It means that he's a very fast wide receiver, something that they desperately need, something that they don't have in either Rome and DJ Moore. So he adds a component that Chicago doesn't currently have, which is good news for Luther. 204, Kyle's going to select Trey Harris, Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver. So like I had mentioned, Kyle is just taking his picks and adding players to a pot where he already has a lot of good young players. So Trey Harris, 2nd round draft capital, was in the SEC, had a 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. Great numbers for SEC. 20.5 breakout age. Not great, but not bad. Could be worse. So that's the first 4 picks of the second round. Moving on to 205 now. So now with the 205, Ty's going to select Jack Beck, Las Vegas wide receiver, drafted in the 2nd round, had 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns last year, 31st percentile 40-yard dash. So what does that mean? He's a little bit on the slower side, but they have Jacoby Myers, they have Brock Bowers. He could fill in that wide receiver 3 spot for Geno. I think he'll be a fine pick. 206, Josh could take Bashul Tutin, Jacksonville running back, 4th round draft capital, 100th percentile in the 40-yard dash. That means he's the fastest running back in this draft class. He had fumble issues in college. You've been seeing that in minicamp. But even though it's a crowded running back room, he has potential. The other 2 have kind of underperformed. His comp is CJ Spiller. 207, Josh could select Jaden Blue, Dallas running back. So this is 4th pick, or his 5th pick, and Josh has taken now 5 young running backs. He's taken shots at these running backs. What is good about Jaden Blue? Well, he's 5th round draft capital. That's not good. 92nd percentile in the 40-yard dash, so he's a very, very fast running back. Dallas has not many people in the running back draft room, so we have some opportunity here. He looks thick, but he's quite fast. My comp is Nyheim Hines. Mike, with the 208 pick, is going to take Cam Ward, Tennessee QB. He was the top pick in the NFL draft. 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns last year. He has a sneaky fast 40 time. My comp for him is Arch Manning. He's going to be a good player. Bad situation, but I do think that he is very talented. With the 209, Jonah's going to take Kyle Williams, New England wide receiver. He was an early 3rd round pick, 91st percentile in 40-yard dash, so very fast. His comp is Rashad Bateman. So in this offense, he could come out as maybe the 2nd guy, maybe the 3rd guy by Stefon Diggs, maybe even overtake him next year. We're really just kind of throwing out dart throws at this point. The 210, Ty is going to take Jalen Noel, Houston wide receiver, also third round draft capital. 94th percentile in the 40-yard dash. His comp is actually Rashee Rice. So, going to be the third receiver in this Houston offense if Tank Dell were to come back and not be 100%. So, Ty's going to ensure that he has some sort of wide receiver in this room. The 211, Tanner's going to take Dylan Sampson, Cleveland running back. So he's fourth round draft capital. Cleveland also had Judkins earlier on. But Dylan Sampson had 1,500 rushing yards and 22 total TDs at Tennessee, so he's a very, very good pick. Good back. Could be a 1-2 punch in Cleveland when Ford's gone. And then Tanner's going to take Jackson Dart, New York Giants QB with the 212. He also has first-round draft capital. In the SEC, he threw for 4,300 yards and 29 TDs. His comp is Sam Howell. New York really liked him, so they just went out of their way to get him. So could be a really good fit with that Coach Brian Dable there. Going into the third round here, Mike has the first pick. So he's going to take Terrence Ferguson, Los Angeles Rams tight end. Going to Sean McVay offense should be good. Take Higbee's rollover with Matt Stafford there. He was second-round draft capital, so good capital going there. 302, Tyler's going to take Devin Neal, running back for New Orleans. That running back room is, besides Alvin Kamara, who's getting on the older side, is kind of wide open at the point. Player profile actually has Devin Neal's comp being Kareem Hunt, so it turns out to be true. Huge pick in the third round. 303, Joe's going to take Mason Taylor, Jets tight end. He has short arms, but Jonah loves taking Jets, so he's got good capital. That's the pick here. 304, Kyle's going to take Jalen Royals, Kansas City wide receiver, 88th percentile for 4-yard dash, so a very fast receiver to go alongside Xavier Worthy. 305, Tanner's going to take Elijah Arroyo, another tight end here, Seattle. That went to Seattle. He was second-round draft capital. Don't really know too much more about that, but you always follow the draft capital and hope that the scouts have it down. 306, Mike's going to take Pat Bryant, Denver wide receiver. He's slow, he's old, he has short arms, but he had third-round draft capital, and that wide receiver room right now is kind of wide open. With the 307, Mike's going to take Eric Ayo Manor, Tennessee wide receiver. His comp is Khalil Shakir. There's just a ton of wide receivers right now in Tennessee. They drafted a ton. They even grabbed one that was undrafted that played with Cam Ward. So it's really all up in the air of who's going to hit. 308, Joey's going to take Jalen Milroe, Seattle QB. Joey typically likes to take QBs later on in the third and fourth round. Milroe's comp is Malik Willis. And historically, Joey has been taking those QBs that are able to run, but maybe we don't know what their passing game looks like come NFL time. 309, Tyler's going to go take Trevor Etienne, Carolina running back, 94th percentile, 40-yard dash, so he's very fast. And Tyler has a couple more of those Carolina running backs. So he's going to take the Carolina running back there. 310, Ty's going to take Jordan James, San Francisco running back. He had 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns last year at Oregon. Nothing much. He didn't really pop at the combine, but you can never bet against San Francisco running back. It's always good. It's always a good landing spot for running backs. So grab a backup there. Injuries might happen. You could have a RB2, RB1 season on him sometime in the future. 311, Tyler's going to take Isaac Tesla, Detroit wide receiver. Not much room to work with in Detroit here, but this is one of those prospects where he was the second most athletic wide receiver in the class, but he has virtually no college production. Really reminds me of Ladd coming out last year, not doing too much at Georgia, but really, really playing well in the NFL. The biggest difference there is that Ladd came into a situation where he was drafted far earlier on And on top of that, he really didn't have too many other wide receivers in front of him, where Isaac Tesla has Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, amongst some other veterans. 312, last pick in the third round. Brennan's going to take Jacquees Hunter, Los Angeles Rams running back. His comp is DeAndre Swift. I don't know too much about him right now. But again, Los Angeles Rams, much like San Francisco 49ers, you take that running back that's in that McVay offense and just hope for the best. All right, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the Wisconsin Jabronis draft. I'm repping Wisconsin Jabronis. So with the 401, Jonah's going to be taking Harold Fannin Jr., Cleveland tight end. With the 402, Mike's going to be taking Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland quarterback. High risk, high reward with this pick here. Mikey's already taken a QB, but he has so many picks in this draft that it only makes sense to continue taking the players he thinks are going to start. So with the 403, Gavin's going to be taking Tyler Shaw, quarterback, New Orleans. On the older side, only 62%, I think, passing percentage last year. But it still should be a good pick because New Orleans' Derek Carr just retired this past offseason, so should be an opening unless the Rat Man, Spencer Rattler, gets to him first. With the 404, Kyle's going to take Woody Marks, Houston running back. While Nick Chubb has moved in there, both Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon are both on the older side, so this was an investment that Houston did, I think, pour a 4th or 5th rounder into. So low risk or low investment there, but next year could be seeing greatness. 405, Tanner's taking Ollie Gordon, the second Miami running back. 2 years ago, he had 1,700 yards. Everyone thought he was going to be a first, maybe second round pick in the NFL draft. He stunk this past year, but if you can get some of that former glory, Miami might have a good guy on their hands. With the 406, Josh is going to take DJ Giddens, Indianapolis running back. Jonathan Taylor is still there, but if he were to get injured, this is the insurance running back you would want. 407, Brennan's going to be taking Savion Williams, wide receiver for Green Bay. Savion Williams, third-round pick this past year. I think all Packer fans were shocked when it actually happened, but he is more of a Deebo Samuel role where he's kind of a gadget guy. I know we all had Jaden Reed before, but I think they're going to start putting him more outside versus in the slot, and Savion Williams is going to find a nice home within the slot here. Good quality pick in the 4th round. 408, Joey's going to be taking Ty Felton, Minnesota wide receiver. Don't know what Minnesota's doing drafting wide receiver, but Jordan Addison is still under contract for 2 more years. Probably will get his 5th-year option renewed, so he might not even be a good pick until year 4. 409, Jonah's going to be taking Chimari Dike, Tennessee wide receiver. Played 4 years at Wisconsin, 5th year at Florida, and he did really well at Florida. He was really good with the Badgers as well. Tennessee has a wide-open wide receiver room. They took about 4 receivers this year in the draft, along with Cam Moore. 410, Ty's going to be taking LaQuint Allen, Jacksonville running back. Another Jacksonville running back already went off the board here in this draft, so now they have a running back room of 4. Ty already has the Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, so he gets a third one here, an additional handcuff, let's call it. 411, Freddie's taking Kyle Mangione, Chicago running back. Chicago did not take a running back this year. This is the only one that they did take. DeAndre Swift might be on the way out. Chicago, Ben Johnson did not like DeAndre Swift when he was in Detroit, so if that's the case, then there's going to be more room to work with here. With the 412 and the last pick in the draft, Tyler's taking Damian Martinez, a Seattle running back. Don't know too much about this guy, but he's not touching Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. But that is all I have for this draft. Thank you all for listening, and have a great Father's Day weekend. See you on July 4th.